Right now, Sonoma home sellers are getting blindsided, and not by something you'd expect. I'm talking about a growing issue that's killing deals, lowering offers, and catching homeowners completely off guard. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what's happening in the Sonoma housing market right now and why it's blindsiding so many sellers and homeowners, from a shocking surge in inventory to buyers backing out and homes dropping in value. I'll walk you through the 6 key shifts every seller needs to know. I'm Nadia, a local real estate broker here in Sonoma County for the last decade, and I make videos all about life here in Sonoma. I can tell you this video is not something you want to ignore, so let's take a closer look. Sonoma housing's inventory has surged from 3,100 homes last year to 4,200 listings this year. Inventory levels are now at their highest point in over a decade. I want you to imagine walking into a store that's been having constant shortages for years, or customers would literally fight over the last item on the shelf, and then suddenly overnight every shelf is fully stocked. That's exactly what's happening here in Sonoma's housing market. So when I'm driving clients around different neighborhoods, the change is visually obvious. For sale signs are everywhere, as are our open house signs when you drive through the town during the weekends. In some areas, there used to be absolute feeding frenzies just a year ago. You'll now see multiple homes for sale on a single block. But what's driving this inventory explosion? It's actually coming from multiple directions. We've got homeowners who are waiting for the perfect time to sell and who are all deciding to list at once. We've got investors who are reading the market signals and deciding to cash out, and we've finally gotten new construction finally catching up after years of supply chain issues. For years now, buyers have been conditioned to make split-second decisions when writing offers, in most cases over asking just to have a chance. Now they're walking into a market where they can actually take their time, compare multiple properties, and even negotiate on price. Let me tell you about a client of mine who I've been working for over a year now. We lost out on 3 different properties despite offering over ask each time, and now we're looking at 5 different properties, all that meet her criteria, and sellers are calling us back asking if she's still interested. The tables have completely turned. Now, while the inventory explosion might sound like great news for buyers, it's actually creating a completely different problem that nobody saw coming, and that is vanishing buyers and an affordability crisis. Affordability has decreased significantly with higher interest rates. You have to remember, in 2022, we went from a 2.5% interest rate to 5.5% in just 3 months, the highest interest rate hike in history. And so now we're up to almost 7% again. Here in 2025, we are in an affordability crisis, and the average payment has gone from around $2,800 to closer to $5,200 for an average home. Imagine this, just today alone, I saw 16 price reductions on our MLS, only in Santa Rosa. Homes are taking much longer to sell than they did a year ago, and right now our current average days on market is 75 days. First-time homebuyers have been particularly impacted by this affordability challenge. The segment of the market has almost dropped off entirely. The average homebuyer in today's market is around 56 years old, or the average seller is around 63 years old. So the majority of people that are moving right now are the baby boomers that have a lot of equity built up in their homes, and interest rates aren't really affecting them as much as, for example, the Gen Z or Gen X generation. Many buyers are taking the wait and see approach. I can't tell you how many times we've started with a buyer that's been excited about getting into a home, and then they push the brakes for one reason or another, usually due to financial reasons. You think with all the inventory, buyers will be swarming the market, but that's not what's happening at all. Instead, we're seeing something more surreal: homes sitting empty during showings, open houses with few visitors, and sellers calling me in panic, wondering where all the buyers are. The reality is that we are experiencing an affordability crisis here in Sonoma. A typical home that might have been affordable with lower interest rates now requires a significantly higher monthly payment. This payment shock has forced many buyers to either lower their price range or exit the market entirely. I've seen this play out in real time with my clients. I was working with a young couple who were pre-approved for homes last year. They decided to wait a few months to save a larger down payment, And when they came back to the market this spring, their purchasing power has decreased substantially simply because of rate increases. Suddenly, the neighborhoods they were targeting were completely out of reach. The psychological impact is huge. Even buyers who can technically afford today's prices are hesitant to pull the trigger. There's a widespread feeling that if they wait, they might get a better deal, and that wait and see attitude is further cooling down the market. With buyers vanishing and inventory piling up, sellers are now facing a harsh new reality that's forcing them to make some painful decisions. I'm talking about the price reduction wave. If you've been watching the Sonoma market lately, you've probably noticed a wave of price cuts spreading across the county. We're seeing price reductions at levels we haven't experienced in years, and it's happening in every neighborhood across the area. The numbers tell a shocking story. Sonoma County has experienced 128 price reductions in the last 7 days alone. What's even more surprising is that many homes aren't just getting a single price cut, they're getting multiple price reductions before finally attracting a buyer. I just helped buyers purchase a home that we not only offered less on, but got an additional $30,000 seller credit. Even with these price reductions, sellers are still facing a market reality check. After all the price drops, homes are typically selling for about 98% of their final price. That means buyers are still negotiating additional discounts even after the reduction. The emotional toll on sellers has been significant. Many sellers are still expecting that same market frenzy condition we saw during the pandemic with multiple offers and prices way up over asking. Instead, they're facing weeks or months of silence followed by the difficult conversation about reducing their price. Successful sellers are now pricing below recent comps to generate immediate interest. This price ahead of the market strategy is uncomfortable for many sellers, but it's proving effective in getting homes sold while others are lingering. And if you're serious about selling in today's market, you need to price your home realistically from day one. The data shows that homes priced correctly from the start sell faster and often for more than homes that start too high and then require multiple reductions. Buyers see those price cuts as a weakness and tend to negotiate even harder while price reductions are grabbing headlines. There's another major shift happening, and that's forcing sellers to completely rethink how they prepare their homes for sale. I'm talking about the return of home preparation. When we only had a fraction of homes on the market, you could have old carpets or old dinged painting and also kitchen counters that maybe was in style back then, but not now. But if buyers just needed a house, they had so few options to choose from that they would forego a lot of things that just to get them into a house. But nowadays, things are different. Buyers can be incredibly selective because they have so many homes to pick from. Sellers don't have the advantage anymore, and we're actually entering into a buyer's market with 6 months of inventory. So with that much inventory, buyers are not willing to overlook outdated features in homes anymore. And even if it's a cosmetic thing, buying a home is emotional and it just doesn't appeal to buyers anymore. They're looking for those stainless steel appliances, they're looking for quartz countertops, and they're looking for a nice backsplash. They're also typically looking for cabinets that are painted white or redone or refaced. Potentially, they're also looking at LVP luxury vinyl plank flooring that's light and bright. If the home feels too dark, buyers just don't have the emotional connection. Light and bright is the key as far as style goes in today's market. So I would say the most important home prep elements that will help you if you're a seller are carpets, paint, and appliances. I think number 4 probably would be the kitchen counters. There's a huge difference between a red tile countertop to a smooth white quartz with gray veins running through it. Although I have to say I'm tired of seeing those gray veins, but that's just me. It's just night and day as far as buyer overall emotional experience when they go through a home. So most of the sellers that I'm meeting will end up spending anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000 in a home prep, depending on the size of the home and what kind of needs we have. And this also does include staging. I cannot emphasize how important staging your home is, especially now and especially if it's a vacant home. Usually we're doubling or tripling the money on what they spend based on the improvements that they have made. creating the emotional appeal, which is very underrated, so that when buyers see the house, they actually fall in love with it and they think, man, I can't get this anywhere else. That's the mentality that you want buyers to have as they are walking through the home. Now, every home is different, so it's really important that you call me. Make sure to see my number below here so that you can reach out, and I'm happy to walk you through your home and let you know what are the best things you can do to make your house more appealing. There are tired homes in our market that would have sold quickly 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're just sitting and they don't sell for months. Buyers are demanding, they want move-in ready type properties and significant price discounts at the same time. And homes needing updates are selling for less than updated comparable properties. Pre-listing investments in cosmetic updates are seeing strong returns more than ever. Professional staging has become essential rather than optimal. We've entered into a new era of extreme buyer selectivity where home preparation has suddenly become make or break it for sellers. And the biggest mind shift for sellers is understanding that in today's market, buyers are no longer willing to see past cosmetic issues or overlook needed updates. Of course, some buyers are still looking for those fixer-uppers, but it has to be at the right price, and every flaw becomes a negotiating point. If you're a seller in today's market, here's your action plan. First, be realistic about pricing from day one. The data is clear, home price correctly at the start, and it will sell faster and often for more than those that require multiple price reductions. Look at the most recent comparable sales, not what your neighbor got last year or during the pandemic. We're seeing about 98% of final list price on average. So build that into your expectations and also into your planning. Second, you really need to invest strategically in preparation. Focus on the cosmetic updates that create emotional appeal. Neutral, fresh paint, updated flooring, modern fixtures, and the kitchen that needs refreshing, such as countertops. Those are the things that typically yield higher returns. I know I said it before, but professional staging is no longer an option on a vacant home. It's essential. The cost of proper preparation is almost always less than your first price reduction would be. Here's another thing. Time your listing strategically if possible. And if you can wait for that February to June window, you're likely to see activity with stronger offers. If you need to sell during the off-season, you'll need to be even more aggressive with pricing and preparation to stand out. And here's for the buyers. This market shift presents opportunities for you that you haven't seen in years. Now you have the time to make thoughtful decisions rather than rushed ones. Use this to your advantage by thoroughly inspecting properties and researching neighborhoods. Also, negotiations are back on the table. Don't be afraid to ask less than list price, or ask for a seller credit to pay your buyer's closing costs or buy down the interest rate. You can also ask for repairs, especially on homes that have been sitting on the market for a while. Consider homes that have been listed for 30 days plus. At some point, sellers are often more motivated and willing to make the deals happen in those kind of homes. Also, look at properties slightly above your price range. With nearly half of the listings seeing price reductions, a home initially out of reach might become affordable after that cut. Whether buying or selling, working with an agent who understands the shifting market is more important than ever. You need someone who can navigate these new waters. With current data and adaptive strategy, the Sonoma County market is shifting rapidly, and with the right approach, you can still achieve your real estate goals. Let me show you how I can help. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the shifting Sonoma market, don't navigate it alone. I help dozens of clients successfully adapt to these new conditions. Text or call me at the number on your screen for no obligation consultation, and we'll analyze your specific situation and develop a customized strategy. Thanks for watching.